Welcome everyone, this is, I'm Tom Bushnell. I'm here with Sir Michael Gambon.
Oh, blimey.
Michael, it's a pleasure to have you.
Nice to be here.
And this is our first episode of Top of Your Game. That's what we're going to call the show. I think it sounds like a good...
Top of your game?
Yeah, top of your game, you know, like someone like you, reach the top, reach the summit.
Oh God almighty.
So, you know, I think that's a good name for it.
Yeah.
We were thinking of calling it something else, but I don't know if we should say it on camera.
Can't repeat that.
Although we're uncensored, so we can say what we want.
He said something terrible earlier. Top of your game.
Top of your game, that sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Well, thank you for coming in today, Michael. And courtesy as well, I just wanted to thank the college, City of Westminster College here at Paddington. They've allowed us their facilities.
Lovely place.
Yeah, it's a great place, yeah. Does a lot of good work with students. We've got a filming section, theatre, so it's a pleasure to have you here, Sir Michael.
Thank you.
But yeah, let's get into it. I wanted to start at the beginning, because the beginning is always a good place to start.
Yeah.
You originally, that sounds a bit coy, you're Irish, but you're kind of British now, yes?
Well, no, I mean, I was...
Or you would always say you're Irish?
I would say I'm Irish.
Okay.
I was in Ireland until I think I was 6 when my mum and dad brought me over to London.
Okay.
And I had an Irish accent, which I haven't got. But
I
can still do it.
Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Can you give us a bit of your
I
Irish
can talk
accent?
like that all day. It doesn't matter who's talking to me. That's in my blood, the Irish accent.
Okay.
And that's the way I talk to my mum and dad. And so when I lived in Camden Town,
yes.
After about 5 years in Camden Town, I started changing the accent without realising what was going on.
Okay.
So I became English after about 6 months.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. And but I still go to Ireland. I still have Irish friends, Irish relatives, and I go over there. I do plays there.
Okay.
So I love it. It's nice.
Okay, so you're still fully Irish.
Fully Irish and fully English.
And English, yeah.
That's possible.
Well, we're glad to adopt you. We're glad to have you. We're glad to.
Nice to be here.
When I was researching yourself, we've known each other on and off for probably 8, 9 months, something like that. I guess maybe a year.
I keep bumping into you in the street.
Yeah, I keep popping up. I keep following you. Yeah,
that's right.
We always meet each other in the pub, one of the local pubs.
The local pub.
Yeah.
So,
but when I was researching you for today, one of the things that came up, which was interesting, and I thought, I'll ask you from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
There was a part when you weren't trained as a classical actor, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
I have no training at all.
Okay.
No, but that was the days when you didn't really get training. I mean, I started acting when I was, I can't remember, about 1962 or something like that.
Okay.
I started acting, getting jobs, lots of jobs, and I never thought of ever being trained.
Right.
I mean, there are quite a lot of actors of my generation who were never trained.
Okay.
Ian McKellen being one.
Wasn't he? Ian wasn't, no? Okay.
Yeah, but now it seems to have overtaken everybody. Someone told me every city in England has a drama school.
Yeah, they need to be trained. You need a license to act.
I mean, my God, it must be an awful lot of people trying to be actors.
I can imagine there must be, it's one of those supply and demand things, and there's probably not enough.
Not enough.
Support, well, not enough.
But there are too many.
Too many actors out there. Yeah,
that's right. So,
but one of the things I did pick up on that, and I wanted to ask you directly about it, was apparently, if I've got this correct, and if the source is correct, you gave us a CV. I think it was to be in a play, but then it was basically you kind of just winged it and just like, I've been in this, and this, or is that not true?
Oh, when I first went.
Because I think I love that. I love the spontaneity. If that's true, I think that's brilliant.
Wanted to be an actor, and I went to a casting director.
Okay.
I can't remember who it was, years ago.
Yeah.
And he asked me, it was a bloke, and he said to me, "What have you done in acting?" And I started telling him lies.
Told him a bit of bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. Completely. I said I'd been in a play I even said I'd been in one in the West End. And he didn't seem to bat an eyelid, but that's, I mean, you can't do that now, but I mean, well, you could, but you wouldn't didn't get away with
No.
it. I don't think I got away with it, because he didn't give me a job.
Oh, he didn't? Okay,
No.
okay. So it didn't lead you into, it wasn't your first one?
I
Okay.
just got to know people. I went to, because I'm Irish, I went to Ireland because I heard that Michael McKellen was putting a play on and going to Europe with it. So I went over to see him and he let me be in it. Only a small part with a spear. And we did that in Dublin, and then we went to Europe, all over this part of Europe. And then I came back and I did a play at the Mermaid Theatre.
Okay.
Just by being nice to people.
Yeah.
And then I was an understudy in the West End. And then finally I got into the National Theatre when it opened in 1963.
Right.
As a small part player, and I stayed there for 3.5 years.
Okay.
And then after the 3.5 years I went to Olivier, who was the director who owned it, who ran it. And I said, I want bigger parts. He said, oh, whose parts do you want? I said, no, I don't want anyone's parts, but and I think he, by using the telephone, got me a season at the Birmingham Rep.
Okay.
And I played leading parts there for a whole year.
Right.
And that's how I started in all this stuff.
And am I right in what I looked up? Originally you weren't sure who Mr. Olivier was at the
No,
time?
I mean, I was very young and I didn't really know who he was. And I remember going...
That makes me feel better, because I know of him, but I don't really, you know, it's back then, so...
Yeah. Well, he was sitting there in the rehearsal room when we had to audition for him.
Right.
And I didn't audition for him, but I did some acting, a little bit of acting. And I caught my hand on a nail sticking up that was in a shed somewhere.
Okay.
I cut myself during the speech, and he said, no, stop, and he rushed up. He said, you damaged her. I said, oh, it's all right, doesn't matter. He said, no, he said, you can't do that. And so I went home a bit depressed, and the phone went the next day, and I was offered a season at the National Theatre.
Wow.
But I thought it was only because I've cut my hand. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So would you say then, because something you said that helped you get along was you were nice to people, and you've struck me as a you know, down to, as you see you now is how I can vouch that's how Michael is, you know, unless you're completely something different, but I don't think you are. You know?
No.
And you're very polite and nice people. You're very self-deprecating. You can crack a joke and see the funny side of things. You don't go around like a megastar.
No, I hate that.
But you know, you are in many respects, but you're very just down to earth and being nice to people and I guess having respect and just kind of mixing in with everyone. It's got you far.
I mean, you act on the stage, don't you? I've done it all my life, but when you walk off the stage, you become yourself again, don't you?
Yeah.
And I try to be pleasant to people. I try not to. I try to be myself, who I am. But no big thing. Simple.
One of the things I've noticed as well is, like I was saying before we started filming, when we met earlier, I was watching and re-watching some of Michael's work. One of them was The Singing Detective from back in the 80s. So I watched the whole series of that. It was a long slog, but it was great. It's really interesting. It's just there's so many caveats and vignettes of pearls of wisdom, really, philosophy and life.
Wonderful.
It's a wonderful script, isn't it?
Wonderful play, and it was 7 months to shoot it.
Yes.
I seem to remember. A lot of hard work. I used to drive every day. In those days, you had to bring yourself to the theatre.
Yeah.
You didn't send you a car. I used to drive every day, and in 7 months, we shot the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was really enjoyable and terrific. I'll never forget it. And it helped me because I got much better parts after that went out in the West End, and so that's the way it all happened. And it became. I spent the rest of my life doing acting and doing plays and television and films, and it just seems to. I don't know. I'm an extremely lucky person. I just. Except now I'm certain at age now, I'm getting old and I can't remember lines very well.
Yeah, you said about you have to give it the theatre because of the memory side of it.
Memory, so I don't do stage anymore. I do a bit of stage when I haven't got much to say.
Okay.
Or I do theatre or films with earpieces.
Okay.
So you get a friend of yours to tell you the line and you do it. But that's all quite recent, but I've spent my whole life knowing lines at one point. I didn't have to read the script. I'd know it, you know, like when you start, you can learn a whole page in, you know, 15 minutes.
Were you just self-taught on how to memorise it because you were enthusiastic about your work and your craft?
Because you're interested in being in acting, then you actors memorise lines very quickly, depending how old they are. But I remember nowadays, people on the stage, the actors have to learn the lines before they turn up for the first rehearsal.
Okay.
But in my day, that was never done. I mean, we always turned up with scripts on the first rehearsal and read the script during the process of making the film or TV, stage. And, you know, we'd know it by the last performance, or before the opening. But it was much freer then, but now it's not like.
Okay, so it was basically organically you could learn it there and then on the job practicing.
And
then by the time it's ready to launch.
Most actors learned it on the job until they got to the opening.
Okay.
But now I think most directors don't like that very much.
They like you to have it all before.
Have it all before, but I don't think it's very wise,
really. Really?
I think learning lines on the stage for a stage production, it's part of the process of rehearsing.
Okay.
As you rehearse for say 4 weeks, your constant reference to the script and what you're doing, what sort of man he is, what he does, all blends together, doesn't it?
Okay.
I think maybe directors are right in what they think about, but I don't like that very much.
Okay. I guess, and you can compare the two. You've had the two processes. You've seen it maybe change as time has gone on, and you see the value of the organic way, how it used to be done.
How it used to be done,
Okay. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, we've alluded to it a little bit. You talked about your Irish roots and your accent. But I noticed when I was watching The Singing Detective, and when I've heard you in, say, later things, your voice has become almost more of a vintage as time has gone on. Is that a deliberate thing, or is that a process of age?
More of a what?
I would say a vintage. It's matured. It's matured with age. It's like a fine wine or a cheese.
You get older.
It's still you. Obviously, you know,
it
10,
changes
20,
tone,
30 years ago.
Deeper.
Yeah, now it's become really quite. I mean, before it was a great voice, but now it's like when you project it, it's like, wow, that's the Gambon. There it is, you know.
Well, it's because I smoke too much, I think.
Okay.
No, don't take that note.
Don't smoke, kids.
Don't smoke children. Not allowed. Anyway,
or adults. Well, if you do, you do. You know.
That's something to do with your voice getting deeper. But it may be because I'm getting old. I don't know.
Okay, so it's not a deliberate. It's not a thing that you've practiced over time and being on the floorboards of the stage.
If you're on the floorboards of a stage, of course you speak in a certain way. First of all, you have to be heard, don't you? You know that the auditorium is quite big.
Yes.
And then the person you're playing might not speak like you.
Okay.
So you change your voice to suit whoever you're playing.
Okay. So you have to have that variation in your projection and your tonality.
That's right.
Did you weren't trained? Excuse me. You weren't trained as an actor.
No.
But did you do any kind of coaching or voice projection or anything like that for the stage?
Not really, no, I just seemed to pick it up.
Okay.
I mean, when I first was a National Theatre actor, I didn't have much to say, now and again a few lines. And you're listening to all these brilliant actors all around you in the theatre, in the National Theatre, and you begin to listen to them and you think, good God, and that affects how you talk as well.
Right. So when you're what's the phrase?
A walk-on, a small part player.
Yeah.
You then hear how these leading men and women speak, and that makes a difference. You might listen without even knowing you're listening. What's going on? And that affects how you work.
Through the social osmosis of those people at the top of their game.
Yeah, you pick
top of their game. You pick it up. You're hanging out and learning from the best in the trade, and you become like them.
The tone of your voice, the rhythm of it, how far you project in the auditorium, all that builds up as you're standing there as a walk-on.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
In football, because I know you like football. You're an Arsenal fan, if I remember rightly.
Arsenal,
What was that? What was the funny part?
I don't know. I can't say anyway.
Oh, okay. But yeah, many great players have said that their game has been improved by playing with better players.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know.
I'm sure. I mean, a footballer, a player of football, he he's watching all the time to other people. He learns and learns and learns. I mean, a young person starting his life as a footballer will pick up all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's part of the same as sort of acting. It's not the same as acting, but that's what's happening.
It's how you learn, though, isn't it? It's the best way. It's like you can read it from a book, which is fair enough, but if you're there immersed in the
it's better to
experience,
read from a book. Do it.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Copy.
Do it.
You can even copy people in, say, in a theatre. Copy them, but you'll never sound like them because they're a different person.
Yeah, sure.
The copying can help you build your heart up.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You learn from people where you want to be, what you want to become like.
That's right.
And that's why now you're leading the front, and others can learn their trade from you.
Yeah, well, they can. I don't know if they're learning their trade or not. I just do a lot of mucking about. They get on with it.
But I'm sure there's many out there that are working now and aspiring ones that will see you and see the work you've done.
I'm very flattered if that's
I'm sure that I can speak for many that would have that one.
Thank you.
What would you say is your preference, or was your preference? Do you prefer the stage, film, television, or I know you do radio voiceovers, but the three mediums, stage, film, TV, what do you prefer?
They're all completely different, aren't they?
Okay.
If you really want the real truth, I prefer the stage.
I thought I sensed that might be your favourite.
That's where I've learnt it all, and where I felt I belonged, and is where I was most happiest. The others, filming, doing a film is a completely different thing, isn't it?
Okay.
It's not like that at all.
Would you say that differs a lot from TV as well?
I think so, yeah. The three things are different, aren't they? They're all brilliant to do and can be hugely enjoyable. But I suppose you start off as a stage actor, although I did film quite early in my life. But I like the stage best, I think, although I've loved being in films when I've had a good part, That's why. So there is a difference, but I mean, first of all, on the stage, unless you speak up, people can't hear you.
Yes.
So you have to.
You've got to fight for space, for volume,
you've got to project it out.
Yeah.
You don't do that as a film actor.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to.
You don't need to. The cameras are all working.
Yeah.
It's different. And whereas a television actor might be slightly different again. And so,
what would you say I'm interested you say that film and TV are different. Obviously they're different mediums, but what the slight nuances that you would say how they differ for you, because you've obviously done them?
I wish I knew. I know it feels slightly different to be on a big film set.
Okay.
Like I did Harry Potter for years.
Yes, yeah. I want to ask you more about that.
Very important.
Bit,
but I was say different on that. Well, it depends on what character you're playing.
Yes.
My character playing Harry Potter was slightly different from modern drama I've done for television.
Yes.
But it all comes into your mind and your feelings when these things happen. So if you're making a film, you're doing that. You know films are completely different to theatre, for theatre acting, and also for what's the other word? I keep forgetting things.
So we've got the film, theatre, film, and television.
Yeah, television.
Yes. Television, yes.
Tends to be slightly quicker than film, doesn't it?
Okay, there's more of a. We've got to get this done by next week.
I've just done a thing. Not recently. I played Winston Churchill.
Yeah, I saw that on Sunday. Yeah.
That was just 4 weeks.
Okay.
Of shooting. Which is.
And you sang again in that one, I noticed.
Did I sing?
Yeah, a little bit. You were singing.
Oh, it's just sort of.
Blowing Bubble. Yeah, I'm Forever Blowing. The West Ham song. Yeah, I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles.
So they are different, but they're all great.
Okay. In regards to films, are there any films? I'm assuming, I could be incorrect, but as a little boy, were you a film fan? Did you enjoy film, or was it more of a personal thing you liked to perform, or did you actually enjoy going to the cinema and films?
I mean, I went to the pictures when I was a little boy with my mate who was on the road, Camden Town, and see all the films, and I loved that. I love that. And then I remember seeing Marlon Brando in a film. Yeah. And then I was with a mate of mine. We walked past a theatre.
Yeah.
And in theatres they have advertising outside, actors' names and their faces. And we'd just seen the film with Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
And my friend said to me, they're doing that inside there. I said, what? He said, acting. He said, what Marlon Brando's just been doing. I said, well, in there? He said, yeah, it's a theatre.
Yeah.
This was in London. He said, they're acting in there like he's doing on the film. I couldn't quite work it out for the moment. And he took me around the back. He said, that's where the actors go in the stage door. They're like doing what Marlon Brando does.
Right. So that was one of your first
I couldn't. I said, oh, I said, they were in there themselves in there. He said, yeah, with an audience. So that struck me. I'll never forget that.
Okay.
Because I'm so thick, I didn't quite realise.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Well, I actually used to think when I was a kid, you say about the naivety of kids and connecting dots. I remember my parents going to the supermarket and my dad writing out a cheque for the weekly shopping.
Yeah.
And I used to just think, I think I said to him once, why don't you just write out for any amount? You know, you don't need cash. You can just write it on a cheque. Little did I know that it had to go and come out of an account. I just thought it was just a magic piece of paper.
That's right.
So that's
it was a bit like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on.
I still don't.
No, nor do I.
Yeah.
Make it all up.
So you talked about Marlon Brando. Did you ever get a chance to act with him?
Yeah, I did. I did in England. He came over here. He was doing a film, I think I don't know where it was, abroad somewhere.
Yes.
And part of the film was shot in London,
mm-hmm.
and I had to be a lawyer.
What film was that one?
I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
But it's shameful. My memory is going. And I had to be a lawyer in all the uniforms and things.
Yeah.
And Marlon Brando was in the thing. And I spent 2 weeks listening to him and talking to him.
Yeah.
He's a nice bloke.
It's a decent bloke.
He told me that he'd seen the film you mentioned earlier, when
the film was the singing.
He'd seen the singing detective.
Yeah.
He told me that,
yeah.
And he had a copy of the film at home in America, and so I used to talk to him quite a lot.
So he's a decent geezer.
Yeah, I liked him very much.
That's cool.
He was very amusing and he was a bit of a devil.
I like that fact.
And I really liked him.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting fly on the wall hearing you two talking. That would be cool.
I was thrilled, and on the last day of the filming for me, I was driven home. That was the day when they drive you home.
Yeah.
And they drove me along some main road here, and Marlon Brando came past in his car.
Yeah.
And I was looking at him as he went by, and he looked round, he went. I love that. Because he's terrible, always mucking about that like that. Anyway.
That would have, yeah. It's a shame. I would have loved to have met him and interviewed him.
No.
One of the
greats, really.
Yeah, one of the greats. Yeah.
That's right. Truly great actor.
Oh, you're one of those now.
No, I'm not.
You're
just a bloody old
London.
You
are. I'll toot your horn for you.
Yeah.
I'll toot your horn for you. No worries. One of the questions I had for you, you've alluded to it, was I wanted to ask when the first thought came into your mind about the possibility of you being an actor. Did it come back to that point when you were with your friend and they said Marlon Brando's in
maybe,
there?
Yeah. I remember going into a theatre and looking through the curtain of the play that was going on.
Yeah.
And I suddenly realised, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I can't really remember. I spoke to somebody and they sent me to an acting teacher, a woman.
Yeah.
I went round to her house. She charged me a few bob for.
Yeah.
And we went through some scripts and she told me about all that. And I went back 2 or 3 times. And slowly but surely I got more and more interested in it.
Okay. So there were those first few moments when you were younger and then it blossomed and grew from there.
Yeah, that's right. You become obsessed by it. That's
right.
what you want to be.
You've got to be obsessed.
Yeah, but I think when I wanted to be an actor, it was much easier than it is today.
Much easier,
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I might be wrong, I don't know. I think there are many more boys and girls studying drama now
like
in this country there's ever been. There must be thousands of them.
Yeah.
And the possibility of doing very well are pretty remote, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's got to...
Which is sad, really.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of talented actors out there, and they've got to have some serendipity or some luck, or maybe just sheer determination, something to get to break in. To break in. We talked about you watched Marlon Brando and other films when you were younger, and even throughout your career. Have there been any films that you particularly liked that you weren't in, but you thought, oh, I'd love to have been in that?
Well, I suppose to tell the truth, if you're sitting in a cinema and you're an actor, you're watching a film like that, and everyone you watch you want to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You say, you know, they've got some deeply handsome man playing the dean of how you think, what we supposed to take that part?
Yeah.
It was all rubbish, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to be, you know, you go and see a play in the West End with some brilliant actors, and you sit there and I get jealous.
Get jealous, yeah.
I get jealous. I think, you know, you're watching some.
That should be me up there.
That should be me up there. These people, these actors, men are geniuses, and you think,
I could do
cross,
better.
You know, I could do better.
Yeah.
And same with film. You want to be a film actor or television. Yeah, it's a natural human being response, isn't it?
Exactly, of course it is. If it's
I'm
something
sure
that we want.
Yeah, I'm sure every actor who acts quite well feels a bit of resentment when they watch somebody else.
Get the part,
get the part.
Yeah. One of the big parts that you've spoken about before was James Bond. What's the story behind that? Were you offered it, or you were spoken to about it? What's
not me? No.
What you were saying about Sean Connery getting his
I was at Stratford-on-Avon. At the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Okay. Yeah.
We were doing a season in London, in the West End, and I remember several of us were called up. I think we were all National Theatre players.
Yeah.
And we went to a house somewhere in posh part of London, and we were introduced to Cubby Broccoli.
Okay.
Each of us. I might get this wrong, I don't know. There were 10 of us, say, in this room.
It's a good story, though.
And we went up it's a true story.
It's a true story, yeah.
And we went up one by one to this office upstairs, and there was Cubby Broccoli, who I never knew who he was. And he said, now, this is about, what was it?
James Bond.
James Bond.
Yeah.
James Bond, and we're looking for a new James Bond. I said, what? He said, the new James Bond. I said, I can't play James Bond. And he said, why not? I said, well, you know, I said, I haven't got much hair or double chin. I'm getting on. Although I was middle-aged then. He said, yes, you could. He said, who was the famous James Bond?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. He said, look at Sean Connery.
Yeah.
His hair's not very good. He said, this was Cubby Broccoli talking to me. Yeah. He's got a double chin. He said, all we do is we can put everything up. You know, we can have your tinge altered, we can alter your teeth. Very nice thing to say. I said, and I got a bit excited, you know. I said, oh, well,
you can alter your teeth.
I'll do that. I'll pay James Bond if you do all that. Anyway, I don't think any of us got it.
Yeah.
We were just, they were.
Was it Roger Moore, the next one, I think, was it?
Well,
Roger Moore, was it? I can't remember.
He said that he'd just been burned by he said something about the actor who's only played it once.
Lazenby, George Lazenby.
He said that it was mentioned George Lazenby.
Right.
He said, he's just done it, and we want to get a new lot of people. So that was the whole reason why we were sitting there. Anyway, none of us ever got it.
Okay.
If I'd done that, I wouldn't be sitting in there, would I? I'd be in.
You'd be off at a Saint-Tropez or something.
I'd be Saint-Tropez, I'd be lying on the beach
at Bermuda.
I wouldn't be talking to a television set, or radio set.
You wouldn't be talking to me?
No, I certainly wouldn't talk to you. If I was James Bond, I'd never speak to you.
There you go. Or you'd say, carry on walking, son, and then otherwise one of my assistants will pop you off. Pop you off. But I've got some ladies for you.
I know the current James Bond.
Of course, Daniel. Yeah, what's Daniel like?
He's lovely.
Is he a good geezer, yeah?
We did a two-handed play at the Royal Court.
Ah, okay.
And a little bit later, he became James Bond.
Yeah.
I was furious.
Oh, that's my part.
Yeah, that's my part, James Bond.
So Daniel's a good guy then, right?
Oh, absolute best. He's deeply handsome and a very good actor.
He's strong as well. He's fit, isn't he? Rugged. He's got a lot of beef on him.
Yeah.
Toughened up the role with James Bond. You hate him.
Yeah, big hit, big success.
And he's married, or he's with Rachel, isn't he?
Yeah,
Rachel
it's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse. Poor old bugger like me. Anyway, go on.
So it would have been James Bond, could have been one of them, but...
No, even no, it was a joke, really.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's a funny story. But who knows? Maybe in another world, another time.
Yeah, no, I knew next life, maybe.
Next life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be you.
Could be 100 James Bond.
There you go. Yeah. What would you say are some of your favourite personal performances, Michael?
Oh, that's hard to think about. I did, my memory's so bad, I did lots of good, I did View from the Bridge, I remember. Alan Ayckbourn directed View from the Bridge.
View from the Bridge.
Yeah, that was a wonderful American play, and we did that at the National Theatre, and it transferred to the West End.
Okay.
And I loved that.
That was one of your favourites?
Yeah, I think I don't know, sometimes you can walk into a production with the help of Alan Ayckbourn, he's a brilliant director. He told me to play it quite fast,
okay,
which I thought was a secret of getting it through. Anyway, it was a big hit in the West End, and I did very well out of it, and I do remember that quite clearly. And other things that I've done in the theatre, which I can't remember what they call, because my memory's gone.
Unfortunately, I don't know much of your theatre career, because I haven't been to... I'm more of a television and film guy.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, I've spent most of my life in the theatre.
Yeah.
So it's become the most prominent thing in my brain.
Yes.
So I like it. But
any particular movie roles that you really enjoyed or gave you satisfaction being in?
Yeah, quite a few. Name some films I've been in.
Layer Cake is one of my favourites. I love that.
Layer Cake.
The Facts of Life. Can I be
That was Daniel.
I know it was. Can you remember the lines?
People keep quoting when people see me, oh, you're Layer Cake.
I've got it written down.
And they say the last bit I said.
There you go. I had this at the end, but we'll do it now. So you were Mr. Eddie Temple.
Eddie Temple, yeah.
And you're there at the end with Michael.
Yeah.
With Daniel.
Daniel, yeah.
And the Facts of Life. And basically, if I'm quoted right, and you can repeat them back with me, you're born, you take shit. So can we give them?
Oh yeah, you're born, you take shit,
You get out in the world, you take more shit.
You get out in the world, you take more shit.
You climb a little higher, you take less shit.
You climb a little higher, you take less shit. That's right.
And then here we go. And then all of this, something like this, I might be slightly misquoted. To one day, you're in the rarefied atmosphere and you don't know what shit even looks like.
That's right. That's good, isn't it?
And then the last part is welcome to the Layer Cake.
Welcome to the Layer Cake. That's right.
Thank you. I'm glad to be there.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourites. So I love that.
I loved that being in that film.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten all that, but I mean, that's right. It's a great last scene.
Oh, it is.
Speech, isn't it?
Yeah, and with the music. What's the music?
People repeat that to me when I meet them in the street.
Yeah.
They know the lines.
Yeah. It's one of your. It's definitely got the Gambon stamp of approval.
Yeah,
that one.
good.
Definitely.
Good,
one of your other films. Obviously, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, yeah.
Dumbledore. What was that like to play him? He's so. And maybe if we could. Obviously, there was a sad part that led to it.
Richard Harris died.
And you'd I think replaced Richard in something else previously, hadn't you? Was it a play or a film?
Yeah, I don't think I have. But I knew Richard.
You knew
from London, being around the.
What was he like?
He was great, nice, good bloke. He was a nice man. Well, I thought he was.
Yeah.
And he unfortunately died in the second Harry Potter.
Yes.
And
then you started in the third one.
Yeah, they called me up and I went to see them, and I was in the third one, and then I just carried on.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It was a joy. The whole cast, good parts.
It's the best of British, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I had a great time. And you're not used the whole year, you know.
Yeah.
Each Harry Potter. I wasn't anyway. I don't know how long. You do a few months and then come back the next year.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's the phenomenon of it was, swell. It's a huge thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
the last.
Absolutely.
When was it? It was in the last.
It's finished. I don't know when it all came to an end. 5 years ago.
About that, yeah. And it went on for about a decade, didn't it? Almost, really, roughly, something like that.
Yeah, I came back. I died in the second to last episode.
Yes.
And then they brought me back to the ghost.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, the Ghost of Gambon Pass.
Ghost of Gambon.
And it was Alan, it was Snape, wasn't it, that killed you in Harry Potter?
He did. God bless his soul. It's awful.
You seem like you were good friends with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I was terrible.
That's a shock.
Recently, yeah. Awful.
I had the privilege to meet him once in the post office in Paddington years ago, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I bumped into him.
Nicest man in the world.
Yeah, to say hello to him. And again, he's one that's got that distinct voice. You know?
That's right, yeah.
And it's a shame, shocking. Bowie and then Alan a few days later.
Yeah. Terrible. Anyway.
No. Yeah, rest in peace, Alan. When you were, we talked about roles, well, some of the roles you've been in, some of the films you've been in. You talked about Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Were there other, who are some of the favourite actors that you've worked with, that you've enjoyed working with, either just maybe just as a friendship or socially, or as their performance on the stage? They're easy to work with because they're so good.
Well, you know, I worked with 3 world famous American actors. Marlon Brando.
Yes.
This is embarrassing.
De Niro's one you've worked with.
I worked with De Niro, and I worked with the third one, who's a brilliant actor. What's his name?
Was it Pacino?
Pacino.
You have with me. So you remember the three Trinity, the three really?
Yeah. Marlon Brando, Pacino, and De Niro.
Yeah.
And I got to know the 3 of them a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's great. I like telling people that they can't believe it. I remember those 3.
No, those 3. I mean, that's the they're the 3, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Right. So that's something that I can put on my gravestone.
Yeah. What about ladies, leading ladies? Some of the ladies you've enjoyed from a distance, or there's been many beautiful stars you've been able to work with in your time. But any that particularly where I don't want to get you into trouble here, Michael. But
oh no, don't get me into trouble.
No.
I will. There's many ladies. I mean, who's the most beautiful lady in Harry Potter? God, awful.
Bonham Carter?
Huh?
Helena? No.
And Bonham Carter, she's lovely, and
Hermione's
Hermione, when I was on Harry Potter, Hermione was
well, she's a little top, but now she's an adult. Yeah, now she's a girl. Yeah.
Beautiful girl.
Yeah.
So many names I can't remember them.
Emma Thompson's on there, isn't she, Emma?
Yeah.
You recently worked with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I did indeed. She's a lovely girl.
Yeah. I saw you on the One Show.
Dad's Army.
Yeah, Dad's Army. Yeah, I watched it this week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And she was the talk of the town, wasn't she? And that all the boys were falling over her.
We came to nothing in that. She was the boss.
She looked like the boss on the set, on the film.
I just sat next to her, looked like a crank, if I keep my head down. Anyway, yeah, she's great.
Young actors that you've worked with, maybe the new generation.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few generations, but up and coming actors. Who would you say you as an actor see that you think have got real talent? Ones that you enjoyed working with, but you see that they could have a long, fruitful career like yourself.
Well, God, I mean, I know so many. I know so many actors, and a lot of them.
One that you did work with, I'd like to ask you about. Matt Damon in The Good Shepherd.
Yes.
Matt's been around a while, but he's still a relatively young man.
I was in a film with him once, and I found him the nicest, funniest guy ever.
Yeah.
A real comedian.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He likes to have fun. And
so that's interesting you say that. I wouldn't have known that. I've seen him on chat shows where he's laughing,
but
I didn't know he's like the kind of instigator of the jokes. That's interesting.
He can muck about a bit.
Okay.
I remember I had to. Marlon Brando was directing this film I was in America, and I was playing a gay man. And Marlon Brando told me, if Matt Damon was listening to this, he'd recognize it.
Yeah.
Told me to go over to Matt Damon and to go very close to him.
Yeah.
And to touch him. And I remember when we did this, I mean, I could hear Marlon Brando giggling in the back during the tape. And then when I got close to Matt Damon, he started laughing. I can remember that.
What was the joke you said on Top Gear about? I think you might have been referring to something you said before, but Jeremy Clarkson, I think, in your first interview with him, he said that you joked about being gay, and you said, "Oh, I gave it up."
Oh yeah, I used to say to people, I used to be gay, you know, but I had to give it up. I was forced to give it up. They say to me, "Why were you forced to give it up?" And I'd say, "Well, it made my eyes water. Made me eyes water." It's a bit cheap, isn't it?
It's just funny. It's like one of my friends. He's gay, and he's an actor. He was in Coronation Street, and he's been in Lion King.
Yeah.
And we joke about it. It's great.
Does that make him laugh? That one? Yeah.
It's just brilliant, you know. It's just brilliant, and he can tell it. He just laughs. It's hilarious.
That's mine. I made that up.
Yeah.
I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah, that's a brilliant joke. It's a brilliant joke.
I think I said it to
Lee, you're watching Michael, you'd love this joke, yeah.
It was a journalist who was asking me.
Yeah.
He said, I forget what he said to me.
Lee Hornsby, Coronation Street, looking up on the internet.
He made me cross this journalist, and I suddenly said to him, "Well, I used to be gay." He was saying something about gay people. I mean, all my friends are gay anyway. And I said...
so you caught him off guard, you've probably been saying not towards, and he's like, "No, stop."
I say, "Well, I used to be gay." I said, just to smack him.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, were you?" I said, "Yeah, but I was forced to give it up." And he said, "Oh, why was that?" And I said, "Because it made my eyes..." He didn't even laugh. So thick. Anyway, forget it.
That is a good joke though, Michael.
Yeah.
That's always where
my best ever joke.
It's one of the, it's
down in history.
It is, it's definitely. Yeah. And talking of Top Gear, something else that made you legendary, there's many things that have made you legendary, but Gambon Corner.
Oh yeah.
Gambon Corner.
Yeah.
I watched it again last night, I'd seen it before.
I kept crashing the car.
Yeah, well you went round, didn't you, on the corner, on that last corner, and you lifted it, so it went on two wheels.
Yeah, up off the
and
ground.
then because of that...
It smashed into the wall.
Did you smash into the wall as well, did you?
Oh yeah, and then Jeremy invited me to do another one.
I saw you spun it around. Yeah.
So just because I can't drive, I suppose.
But you're a car enthusiast, aren't you?
I love cars, yeah.
What do you drive currently?
Oh, I've got all sorts of cars. I've got an R8 at the moment.
Okay.
And several other things. I just like having them. They're nice.
So you like them from the... Well, they are cars. I love. I don't have one here in London at the moment, but I love driving. Yeah. Do you like it from the aesthetics point of view, or are you a tinkerman? Do you like to fix and play around with it?
I suppose I like really posh, expensive cars, so that I can. This is just me, you know, I'm driving around the West End like that on a summer's day.
There you go. Yeah.
It's a very expensive car.
Yeah. Like in a roller or a Jag or something.
And I look at people like that, just to show.
Yeah. You might as well. I would. I would.
That's what I like. I've had all those cars, Jaguars and Rovers and all those expensive things. Anyway, so that's me with cars.
And I also read that you're a pilot.
Yeah, I had a PPL, not anymore.
Would you fly little like Cessnas or
single engine Cessnas? Yeah.
Okay.
At Biggin Hill.
Okay.
I got taught to fly there years ago, and circuits and bumps. You know what they are?
Circuits and bumps.
You take off, you climb to 1,500 feet, turn right, aircraft then is parallel, then go down the runway is here, so you fly down there, then you turn again, then you begin to descend, then you turn right, touch the wheels onto the runway, up again.
So they're like that.
You can spend days doing that.
Okay.
It teaches you all the qualities of flying a little aeroplane.
Yeah.
And then you might want to do it left hand, so you take off the other way, this way.
Okay. What do they call that? They call that?
Circuits and bumps.
Circuits and bumps, okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of that. But now Biggin Hill's so busy, you can't do that there.
Okay.
So, I don't know if people do circuits and bumps anymore. And then there was another thing I used to do, was I had to climb with the instructor in the aircraft, climb, pull the nose up, you have to be 5,000 feet for this to happen, something like that. Pull the nose up, and then the aircraft starts, pull the lever back, the thrust lever, starts to climb, starts shuddering, you then go full left-hand rudder, so the aircraft goes like that. revolving down.
So that it's in a spin?
It's in a spin.
Wow.
Then you put it out of the spin by...
You are James Bond.
Putting the right hand rudder back and straighten the spin and pull it up, and it goes up again. And you do that twice.
Yes.
And then you do twice to the right. So the spin on the next one
spin each side.
is spinning to the right. So I used to love that, but I did it quite a few times, spinning.
Yeah.
You have to be quite high.
And that was just for...
That was part of the course.
Part of the training, part of the course.
Part of the training, but now they don't do that.
Okay.
They think it's too dangerous.
Right.
Anyway.
So how many hours did you, to get your license to fly on your own, how many hours did you
fly on your own, you have to do, I think about, I don't know, 50 hours.
50, okay.
Yeah, maybe slightly less, 48 or something like that.
Okay.
Whatever it is. And then you do the test. And then I had to go with an instructor, and he put a mask over my face.
Like Zorro?
Yeah, two things. So, I couldn't see anything. I could see the panel in front of me, but not out the windows. I could just see the panel. I could see the instruments changing as I turned the speed, and he had control. He said, "I have control," and he started turning us round. You know, we go right. I kept remembering. Now he's turning right. The aircraft turns right. Then he's straight now. He's gone straight, so he's turned right. So he's going the right hand side. Now he's flying straight. I'm now turning to the left. You see the
yeah.
And he'd leave it like that for quite a time. And then he'd say to me, "Now I want you," he'd take the thing off my head, say, "Right, you have control, Michael." So I am back on control. And he said, "Right, now I want you to take me back to Biggin Hill." Because all this happened.
Yeah.
You just left Biggin Hill, and he was doing all this to see if you could get him back.
Right.
If you remember the turns, I don't know if they do that anymore, right?
Okay.
And
so you're disorientated, really?
Oh yeah, completely. And then so I started looking. I started looking at the ground to see if I could recognise any places like buildings or something. And then I started to, and I couldn't work it out. And I kept looking at him, but he was just sitting there like that.
No clues.
I couldn't get that. And then I saw a runway in the distance, or some form of a runway. I might get this wrong. And I said, I started calling them up on my headset, the Biggin Hill people. Anyway, I called up this people, and there was no reply.
Yeah.
No reply at all. And I kept looking at him, trying to explain to him that there's something wrong here. And I began to do what I would imagine as an approach to the runway.
Right.
I tried to have speed down, because in the distance I could see the beginning of the runway. And he said to me, "What do you think you're doing?" I said, I can't. I was scared, shitting myself. I said, I can't find Biggin. I can't find Biggin. So, but I've just discovered it over there. I'm just beginning an approach. He said, "Oh, really?" He said, "And that's Biggin Hill, is it?" I said, "Yes, I think it is." He said, "Well, it isn't. It's some other airport. It was closed after World War II." So he took it over and landed.
Right.
But he was kind to me and let me on.
That's good.
I couldn't get back to Biggin Hill. No problem.
I had a friend that took me from, there's a little tiny airfield near Bisley in Surrey.
Yeah.
And he took me to the Isle of Wight for lunch.
Yeah.
And then we...
Isle of Wight's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we came back again. I thought that was just great.
Yeah.
But I felt sick. He didn't adjust he's quite an old boy. His name was Ray, and...
Why did you feel sick? He wasn't bouncing around, was he?
Well, I spoke to someone else that was a pilot a little while after, and they said
Yeah.
there's this little thing that you can adjust that makes it so you don't feel it. But I felt really seasick.
Oh.
I mean, I've never felt like that on other planes, but he was, driving along like Mr. Magoo in the aeroplane, and I was his passenger, and I felt...
You were bouncing around a bit?
I didn't even feel like I was bouncing, but I just felt quite cautious.
I've never sick in an aeroplane.
I've never used it, but
No.
I loved the experience of it. But then the other guy that I spoke to said, there's this little thing you can adjust, and it would have balanced it out.
Oh, I see, yeah. He was bucking you apart.
He was.
He was taking the piss.
He was taking the piss, yeah.
Right.
When you've been on set, have there, because like we've already said at the beginning, you know, you're very affable and friendly chat. Have you ever had any blazing rows that you can talk about with, you know, on set with people, or maybe you never have?
I don't think I have. If I felt that coming, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so you'd keep it in check.
Yeah, I'd keep it. I'd bottle it up inside.
Okay. It doesn't seem like your style, to be fair.
No, I'd rather get on with it.
Yeah, okay. And what would you say is, you got any advice for young actors? We talked about it being difficult for, you know, it's not an easy trade for people to break into, but do you have any advice for them?
I had advice, if you go to meet people, try and be positive, try and be open, try to be confident, try to let them see that you're not frightened, or you're not, you know, not affected by all this.
Yeah.
Go in to see people and stand straight, be confident, be easy on the language, and just the advice to give young actors, the only one I can think of is show a willingness and an open desire to do this and be passionate about it. And
Okay.
that's not a very good thing to say, but I can't think of anything else.
So basically, have the passion, be open,
Be
a
open,
sponge,
have
take
passion, and really want to do it, and do your best when they test you out. You know.
Yeah.
It's hard. I know it's hard, and kids get disappointed by all this business. It must be awful. I'm just a lucky bloke who's gone through acting life, just like that. Now it's coming to an end. Not really.
Not yet.
Not really.
Not yet.
Not yet.
One of you spoke about it, and I watched it on, actually watched the repeat Sunday. Churchill, what was it like playing Winston?
Well,
the great man.
It's not a question of you play your impression of Winston Churchill was like.
Yes.
You know, how he spoke slightly, how he walked, what his movements were like,
yeah.
the way he talked. And I mean, in this one, it's a bit easier because from the beginning of the play, you see me in an office, and I collapse. I've had a stroke.
Yeah.
And so the stroke goes on for half the play.
Yeah.
And then you start reviving and speaking and talking, and everything changing back to what you were before. And I had a brilliant director. And
who was the director of that?
I've just had dinner with him last night. That shows you what state I'm in, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway.
But he's a great director.
Oh, and everyone will know who he is. And awful not reverend. Anyway, it was just a 4-week shoot.
4 weeks, okay.
Yeah, I had loads of the cast were my friends.
Yeah, what's his name? The Scottish boy. What's his name? He was in.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know, yeah, he was in.
He's my mate.
He's in Dad's Army.
Yeah,
He's in that, and he's also in The Singing Detective with you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's shocking, isn't it? But I'm getting so on. Anyway, that was a joy to do.
Yeah, it looks a lot of fun, that one.
And that was just recently.
Yeah. Well, you were on the Radio Times, weren't you? On the front of it. Yeah, I saw you. I was like, I'll be seeing Michael next week, and I saw you on the front of it. Dad's Army is another one that you've just done.
Yeah, did that before.
Okay. That again looked a lot of fun.
Well, just with all my friends, I knew most of
the
people, and that we went to Aldborough for the shoot. Was it Aldborough? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Not sure actually.
And we had a long shoot.
I know that the part of it was on the cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
I remember that part.
Freezing weather, dressed in all those.
You were Sergeant Godfrey?
I was, no, not Sergeant.
Just Godfrey?
Godfrey.
Just Godfrey, you wasn't a sergeant, okay.
Yeah, he's not a sergeant. And Godfrey doesn't really know what's happening. You know, he's a bit slow on pickup.
Yeah.
You know, when they say left turn, he turns right. You know,
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. We had some fun.
Any things that you're working on right now that you can
no, I've offered a few things, but I don't know what to do. I have to let someone else decide for me.
Do you have an agent that helps you with those sorts of things?
He's very smart and very intelligent.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what to do.
Do you, this might sound a silly question, but I don't know, I wanted to grasp kind of where the industry's at. Do you ever have to audition for any roles now, or is it they know exactly?
They know.
We want Michael, we want him
They
in.
know
Yeah.
I'm a Burke who can't act, so they just book me in, don't they? No, they don't. I don't.
But they wouldn't say, for instance,
Yeah.
yourself and say Sir Ian McKellen,
Yeah.
and they're like, we've got this role,
Yeah.
and we're picking between the two.
They
Would they ever
wouldn't-
say,
No,
we'll just come and do it?
They wouldn't even pick.
They would just.
They know.
They know, right, we're going to go with one or the
right,
other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
That I thought that's probably works out when
Yeah.
you boys get to your
Yeah.
level in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You know.
No, they wouldn't do that. They just ring you up.
Okay.
They'd say, we don't want that Gambon bloke, he can't act. So Ian, we want you
We
to
want
play
you.
this part. We don't want that Gambon. And then Ian McKellen might even think of shit pity on me, and he might say, oh please, take Michael. We all know he
They
can't.
give it to Michael.
We know he can't act, but just take him, please. 'Cause no, we want you. Oh, all right then. How much will I get? I get 2 million quid. Oh, I'll do it. Thank
I'll
you.
do that one. Yeah, there you go.
I hate him. I'm only joking.
What was it like? We talked about Sir. Both of you are Sirs. What was it like becoming a Sir when you met
it's
Our
very-
Lady?
Well, no, it's very nice. You just,
Yeah.
you know.
They write to you. They call you. You know it's
get
going to
a- You get a
happen.
letter telling you that you've been recommended. You mustn't tell anyone.
Okay.
You're not allowed to tell anyone, and you.
So there's a little bit of maybe a test there. It's like we're going to keep it hush.
Oh,
We'll let
they do
you know.
keep it hush.
Yes, but you have to keep it hush.
Yes, and then
Yes.
the day comes when you go to Buckingham Palace, and you get. I got a CBE first.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you wait another 10 years and you get a knighthood. Very nice.
So is that what it is? You get CBE and it's automatically.
Well,
in
not
most
automatic,
cases,
I don't think.
But you have to wait 10 years.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the rule is. I know I waited about. Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. So I think about 6, 7 years later, I got another letter saying I got a knighthood,
Okay.
which is very pleasant and all that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do Knights of the Realm? Do you have meetups like maybe every 5 years or something? No.
No.
Okay.
Never, ever.
So it's basically you come along and you. Do they call
Yeah.
it investiture? Is it? Or I don't even know the name of it. But you meet the Queen and you kneel.
Yeah,
and,
you kneel down and you bow to the Queen and she
Yeah.
says, well done to you, whatever she says, and then you go off and that's it.
okay.
You put your hat on and go
In the club.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the singing detective, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was the makeup.
Mm.
Obviously, anyone that's not seen the singing detective, basically Michael is a character that's in a hospital. He's got severe psoriasis, I guess is the
Yes,
word,
right.
of the skin, and it's quite a vivid image when you first see your character
Yes,
in the bed. And then there's these flashbacks of, you know, you're an author and writer, etc. I won't ruin the story, but then there's a lovely part, kind of an unwritten love romance between you and the nurse.
That's right, yeah.
And
Well, he fancies a nurse.
yeah, well, you can see why. You know.
Yeah, a beautiful girl. I wish I could.
What's her name? Julie Whiteley.
No.
June Whiteley, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And,
But that's written in the script, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's when she's dressing,
Yes.
that goes on.
Yeah. And there's quite a famous part that she's having to. Well, a famous part, and the pun, no pun intended. But she's dressing you. You've got all the cream. It's all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then there's a bit where.
There's a rude bit, isn't there?
There's a rude bit,
The
a
audience
saucy
don't-
bit,
yeah,
an English humour bit.
Yeah,
You know.
the audience don't see that. Right?
No, no.
She's just talking to him, and he's getting embarrassed. But I can't even remember that scene. But it's a brilliant show. That
Yeah.
lovely.
And all the things you're saying to stop yourself
The whole list of words.
being aroused by the
keep the arousal, sexual arousal down.
yes. And you're saying things like I think Margaret Thatcher,
Yeah, all
Queen's
these
Park
different
Rangers,
names.
Plastic Pitch,
That's
all these
right.
like cold red, yeah.
That's right.
And it's just one of the many
Yeah.
funny
It's
gems
lovely.
in that show.
I wish I could remember anything. Oh.
It's on. I think you can get it on the BBC. Well, I watched it on YouTube.
Oh,
It's on there. Yeah,
You can watch all those things.
You can do, yeah.
You don't have to pay.
Not on the YouTube, you don't.
Oh.
No, but I think you can get it maybe DVD on Amazon or things like that. But you can. It's out there.
Mm.
It is out there.
Oh.
I'll send you a link
Oh,
so you
thank
can.
you very much.
Your hobbies, just wanted to close, because obviously you're known for your acting. We've talked about your driving of cars, flying aeroplanes. What are some of your other passions? I know I don't know if you still do, but you like doing things with clocks, making clocks, if that's right.
Yeah, I used to be a bit of an engineer.
Okay.
I love all that sort of thing, making things out of steel.
Yes.
And so that's the sort of thing I just knock up now and again.
So still like welding and things like that?
Welding, yeah, I'm not very good at welding.
Okay.
I have to be careful. I'm really good at machine tool work. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't talk about that to people. They don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So,
but that's one of your loves, that's one
yeah,
of your passions.
I have an obsession with making things in steel.
Okay. And this is maybe an obscure question to finish on, but I've noticed that you have your ring on your father finger.
Yeah.
And I noticed that was in the Singing Detective as well.
Yeah.
Is that the same ring, or is there any?
I think so. I mean, that's me mum, that's me dad, and that's me mum.
Ah, lovely.
I've always had them.
I wondered, because I noticed you wore the ring back then.
Wow, I see. Wow.
Yeah. And
because my dad had died then. My dad died quite early.
Okay.
And so I nicked his ring, and that when my mum died, I nicked her ring.
So that's what
I've
that
always
is
worn
then. Yeah. But I've always noticed.
It's usually because I forget to take them off.
Yeah, you have it usually in the things I've seen. You have it there on your small finger on your left
nice,
hand.
isn't it?
It is. I thought there might be something
Mum and
significant
Dad.
to that. Mum and Dad. That's beautiful. That's a lovely way to finish.
Nice. There's my mum and dad ring.
There's Mum and Dad. There you go. What were their names?
Mary, my mum, and my sister, my dad, Edward.
Edward. Okay.
Edward.
Mary and Edward.
Mary and
Edward. Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure. I feel very privileged
God
to.
bless you. I'm sorry, I'm not very clear in talking.
No, you're fine. Totally fine. This is why we love you.
Oh God.
This is why we love you.
Be good, learn your lines.
Because learn your lines, but
hard.
he's right at the top of his tree, and
keep a straight back.
this is we love.
Don't muck about. Don't tell fibs.
Don't say anything naughty.
If they want you to, if you want to play a good part in a play or a film, say you've already done that sort of work. You know? They might fall.
They might fall for it. They won't look up on YouTube or Google.
I've already played Laurence Olivier's parts.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
We got it on.
We'll see you again.
Yeah, see you soon. I want to pee now. I bet you need a pee as well.